and welcome to part 1 of a series of 5 that Intego Insurance is doing for artisan food producers. My name is Sarah Hensley and I'm a producer here at Intego Insurance, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about the concerns that artisan food producers have when it comes to their insurance. Here in the Midwest, we are in the heart of garden country. We are growing great produce and we are producing some really cool foods, and so we're really proud to be part of this artisan food movement that's happening not only in Minnesota but across the upper Midwest and across the country. As we've had more food producers come on the scene, there have been concerns where maybe liability and insurance policies aren't matching up with the growth of those companies. So we wanted to address some of those concerns through this video series. Today we are going to start at that place where maybe is keeping some artisan food producers up at night. Those things that you worry about, the things that could take down your business if they happened and you didn't have the right insurance protection for it. So some of those things are contamination. What if you have food products that get contaminated and you have to do a recall? Not only do you have the cost and the negative publicity surrounding the contamination, but you also have the expense of doing a product recall and trying to determine the source of the contamination and how do you fix this problem going forward. There could be something very different, and that would be another huge concern for food producers is contract penalty. If you have a contract with a grocery store or some sort of vendor, you need to fill by a certain date and time, and you have some sort of disruption in your supply chain due to weather or any other sort of factor, and you can't get the amount of product to that vendor at the right time, you could potentially have contract penalties of thousands and thousands of dollars. So how does your insurance policy protect or not protect you today? Weather can be a factor. So do you have a backup generator? That could be something very simple and an easy fix, but maybe it's a more significant weather issue that shuts you down for a week at a time, or potentially you have a disruption to your supply chain again because your supplier had an early frost and now you have a disruption that could result in a contract penalty. So that's something to think about. If you have a claim due to tornado or fire or some other sort of water damage, how long is it going to take you to get either your facility back in shape to be producing your product, or how far will you have to travel to find a similar production facility? If you're in a smaller, more rural area, you might have to have a 2-hour commute to find a reputable and suitable situation for you to start production in. Or if you're in a major metropolitan area, maybe you do have more opportunities to find a suitable replacement. But how does your insurance policy compensate you for your downtime? How do you get back on track? It's a fact that 40% of businesses that suffer a natural disaster don't come back online. That is according to the Red Cross Small Business Association survey. If multiple people get sick from contaminated product that you have produced and distributed, how fast does your liability limit get exhausted? How well protected are you? If you're one of those businesses that's grown exponentially in just a short period of time, you're now distributing product to a lot more people than you were just a couple of years ago, and have your liability limits been matched up with your growth. Another concern that an artisan food producer may have is malicious tampering by an employee. So most of the time we don't have employee issues, but there can be just a scenario that happens with one employee that gets upset and decides to retaliate against his or her employer by tampering with a product that it's shipped out to a consumer. And so that has all sorts of potential consequences for the food producer. So there can be coverages within policies that can offer help for that. And finally, items such as mistaken labeling, particularly surrounding kosher food, gluten-free food, allergy-free, those sorts of items. You can, there's a mistake when it comes to the labeling on that product. There can be a recall that gets started because of those items. So those are several of the things that tend to keep food producers up at night and wondering about things that could potentially be huge impacts to their business. In the upcoming series that we're going to be producing, we're going to be talking about some solutions to these problems.